the Cricket Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where it's blowout central in the IPL. We've got two games in store for you today. We've got the blowout Lucknow. Well, no, you don't. You blow the other team out. Lucknow, they won. That's the important thing. And then yesterday's RCB moment. Every season it happens. Every single season in the IPL, RCB put in this performance at least once. Sometimes
maybe
it's
they've
in the
got it
final.
out of the way early.
Yeah, sometimes it's in the final. Sometimes it's really early. Well, look, we'll talk about that in a moment. We'll be doing in that order. And on Fridays, what do we do, Max?
We do questions. It's Q&A Friday.
Yeah,
Not to be confused with QAnon Friday, which is a very different thing. You have to go somewhere else for that.
That's our other podcast. We've got a structure to our IPL shows. I like it. We've got Q&A Friday. We've got full content Sunday, where we try and squeeze 4 matches into an hour. And then we've got Analysis Wednesday, where we do analysis. You can actually go back and listen to old shows for...
Yeah, suddenly they're now not completely relevant.
Exactly. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Max. That was his voice. And we've got Ross Legg on the Bud Lights in the top left, if you're watching on YouTube. How you doing?
Yeah, you've got to watch the calories when you drink, and that's what I'm doing. And this nice, refreshing Bud Light that went out of date last month is exactly what I want.
Have we got a third sponsor now?
No, I'm just. It's the official. It's officially the official beer of England. So I thought I'd represent, as we are now a global podcast brand.
Okay. If you are watching on YouTube, we'll ask the questions after we've done the 2 match wrap-ups, so get them in then. If you did it on Twitter, we have a list of questions, mainly about Harry Brook and how he's the worst player of all time, with a few about how stupid we were for saying SRH were decent.
That's
it's
fair
interesting, that, is it? Normally we get hate for saying SRH are terrible, and it turns out we're right. This year we changed our mind on how good they are. They are terrible, and people give us hate. Like, come on.
I still think they're rubbish, but that's life.
Before we kick off, we will actually have a word from our sponsor, not Bud Light, Serious Cricket. Ross, we're going to the Nets tomorrow.
We are indeed, and we're trying out some new season kit, and Serious Cricket are our providers. If you want new kit, if you want new gloves, new helmet, new bat, new spikes, whatever equipment you need to play cricket, Serious Cricket have you covered. If you want 10% off, use code TCP23 at the checkout, and you'll get your equipment in the UK. So go and do it right now. It's Serious Cricket, code TCP23 for 10% off.
Max, can you give us the particulars on how Sunrisers Hyderabad were so bad?
How long have you got?
Well, let's just tell us the main points.
Try and fit it into 90 minutes, if that's all right.
We were in Lucknow, and I think I mentioned in the preview of the Lucknow side, we didn't really know much about what the Akana Stadium was going to be like, because we haven't seen the IPL before. But there have been a few T20 games there in the past, and one of them was an absolute disgrace of a pitch, and everyone on both sides were just like, that was terrible, we're really sorry. It happened again. The only thing worse than this pitch was the Sunrisers' performance, because it was abject from start to finish, really. First thing they did wrong was, not win the toss. They got that bit right, but then they chose to bat on a pitch that you don't want to be setting a score on. They promptly fell in a heap, and only Abdul Samad in the final over managed to get them up to 120, which at the halfway stage was always too little, but on this pitch possibly would have been enough for a win, maybe 2 times out of 10, something like that. But what you need to do if you're defending 120 is a few things. You need to bowl well, you need to field well, and did they do either of those things?
Oh, but you could also pick a good wicketkeeper, or a guy who's wicket kept before in his life.
Well, I'm putting that under fielding. Yeah. Should we jump straight in on Animal Precinct? Should we go 2-footed in now?
I've got another one that you could do.
Yeah.
You could use your impact sub to bring in a spinner.
A spinner on a deck that has been favouring spinners.
I think that was one of the most biased wickets in favour of spin I have ever seen. I mean, I tweeted this from the main account, so if anyone's wondering who that was. I said this pitch was unacceptable in a $1 billion league. You cannot have a pitch that is, so biased towards spin bowling and like really, encourages this really unattractive, grinding, crappy finger spin, Krunal Pandya nonsense, catastrophe shit that we ended up with. It cannot be permitted. So that needs to be said. But once you know you're playing on that, and you have the option to change your team to make it more suitable for those conditions, take it. Don't bring in Faisal Faruqi like your backup overseas pacer,
and then bowl Washington Sundar and Aiden Markram.
Yeah, I mean that's
you've got two of the same spinner, one just worse than the other one.
Faruqi was their best bowler.
It was bringing him. So the issue wasn't bringing him on, I suppose, as much as it was. But the issue was him not being in the start. I mean, they started with 3 overseas players, and then brought him in because they wanted flexibility, right? So they had the option, I suppose, of bringing in Heinrich Klaassen, or you could just pick him because he can keep wicket. Or I think was Marco Jansen also available.
It doesn't matter. Right, so you want the option of flexibility. Okay, well, here's the flexibility that it gives you. You're playing on a Bunsen burner and you have an extra spinner. That's the flexibility. That's the point of doing this flexibility thing, not having Faruqi in the side. Now you know you don't need him. You pick him. Okay, right, look, if we're being objective and we say he got 1 for 13 off his 3 overs, it looks like it wasn't a disaster. But the game wasn't going to be won by Faisal Faruqi. Like it just that wasn't how you were going to win this match. Maybe Markande gives you a chance of realising that 2 in 10 equity that you've got. Like that's astonishingly bad. Then I'm going to get through this while we can. Aiden Markram bowling more overs than Washington Sundar doesn't make any sense. I know Sundar goes in the second over of the innings. I know he does, but that's with a hard ball in the power play. So you have to bench that thought for a second. Aiden Markram is not a better bowler than Sundar. Like that should be the other way round. Sundar should have bowled out. And another person who should have bowled out, Adil Rashid. He only bowls 3 overs. I mean, it finishes after 16 overs, and he's managed to bowl 3, 4, 6 overs of spin. He managed to get through 10 overs of seam on the biggest spin-friendly wicket we will see in the IPL this season. It's so stupid. It's unbelievable.
And Natarajan bowled 3 overs in the middle overs.
Well, yeah,
they managed to squeeze that in. It was everything about it was so bad and so wrong, and it was an abomination. The whole thing was an abomination. They were an absolute disgrace.
You mean that Sunrisers Hyderabad were making bad cricketing decisions?
Well, they did so well in the auction to fill their gaps and get a balanced side that covered as many bases as possible. Admittedly, the overseas captain could be an issue. A few young players, no sort of standout star, but
you're not picking the best 11, are they? Fundamentally, they've literally got
or 12 or whatever
sitting on the bench. So makes no sense to me.
And I mean, should we talk about Amalpreet Singh? Because I mean, I do sympathise a little bit as a wicketkeeper playing on a deck that was a disgrace, but even I can't defend that. They must have seen him keep wicket before.
They have a wicketkeeper who's quite good.
They've got 2. They've got Glenn Phillips and Heinrich Klaassen. They spent $600,000 on Heinrich Klaassen.
And they started with 3 overseas players and chose to play a man who literally can't keep wicket. He made Sarfaraz Khan look competent.
All Sunrisers Hyderabad fans as well at the start of the season go, we get a gimme first game of the season because all our South Africans are away. They come back and they don't play them.
No, they did play Markram, who got a golden duck, bowled himself instead of their actual spinner, and was complicit, I assume, in the decision to bring in an extra seam bowler on the world's biggest Bunsen. I mean, if this was the Premier League, I think Brian Lara would be fired after that game. I think the coaching was so bad to end up in that situation and using those plans that I think you'd actually be fired for incompetency.
And Frank Lampard would be brought into the end of the season.
yeah. I don't know who the cricketing equivalent of Frank Lampard would be. It'd be like,
Tom Moody,
Anil Kumble. That's who it would be. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Look, a little bit of credit should go to Lucknow. They, well, I mean,
But they
everyone,
knew what they were doing, didn't they? They
yeah.
knew they were doing. They literally read the pitch well.
They didn't read the
bowled
pitch,
lots
or
of
else they
spin.
ordered the pitch well. I mean, let's be clear
Hey.
about this. They requested a pitch. They have two different types of soil they can use: red and black clay. Apparently, and they had red for the first one. Remember, Mark Wood was pretty good. And then for this one, they were like,
And then all of their pace bowlers were injured or ill.
well, I don't know if it's that. I think they saw SRH actually got some competent pace bowlers, and so they were like, well, let's cheat a little bit. And
It could be that as well.
I think it's disgraceful that that's allowed to happen. I mean, I know it isn't technically cheating, but it kind of is, isn't it? Also, just on this Super Sub, I've just noticed who they took off. They took off their best
Tripathi.
fielder. What are they thinking?
Fielding's overrated, mate.
What are they thinking? Tripathi is their best fielder. I don't know.
It's bad, right? They literally they did really well in the mini auction. They managed to salvage what they're doing. They look like they've got a team to win. All the players that are available to them, and they've got a game plan that they think can work. And they go, do you know what? We're just going to try something different. So it's not paid off.
It was all. I mean, I could sit here and rant about it for hours because it was a disgrace. But we could also, I mean, yeah, obviously the pitch aspect isn't great, but Lucknow. What I did like about Lucknow was, firstly, one of the very important things when chasing a low score on a terrible pitch, is you make the most of the power play, and they tried to do that. Mostly, I mean, Carl Mayer's actually ended up 13 or 14, but he did at least play aggressively. Rahul tried to score.
They did a good job.
He still ended up on 35 or 31, but they did a good job of that.
Yeah.
And then and Krunal Pandya played the spinners really well, I thought.
Lucknow did exactly what they needed to do. They effectively won the game in 3 overs. Like,
and they also, but what it was the first? Is it the first time we're seeing, other than for an injury, an impact sub being used in the first innings as well? So they doubled down using Amit Mishra.
I have seen, yeah. I think they also brought Padoni on for the final over in the last game.
Fine, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, you don't want Amit Mishra on the field fielding in the last over.
Yeah.
He did take a catch. He did take a diving catch.
His debut was 20 years ago, and he's come on as a sub here and taken two for. Legend.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't come on as a sub, did he? He came off as a sub.
No, he went off. Yeah.
They didn't.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm like,
unbelievable. Well, SRH. I mean, like we should answer this quite quickly. I think.
Yeah.
They do still on paper have a good team. Like that bowling attack is one of the better attacks in the league. I think Mayank Agarwal, Tripathi, Markram, Harry Brook in 2 games hasn't done it, so we should immediately write him off. That was a terrible buy. Why did they buy him? So we'll write him off. But they've got Washington Sundar and Abdul Samad down the order as well. I'd rather see Abhishek Sharma, I think, in this team than but.
A million percent.
or
he
maybe
could kick wicket.
and maybe Phillips too. They still should. They should have a proper team. Lost 2 games. They're going to need to win 8 now, Ross. Is there any realistic hope, or are the idiots running the asylum, lunatics running the asylum?
So sometimes you have to hit rock bottom, don't you? And Sunrisers over the last few years, we've thought there's been many rock bottoms for them, but this performance was abject. And they've got all the tools, I think, to win those 8 games. But what's disappointing is that they just continuously they're making decisions which just are not cricketing decisions. They are the lunatics, unfortunately. We have got an awful lot of chat in the live chat and on Twitter saying that Harry Brook is a busted flush. And Sunrisers are the worst team ever to play cricket. It is 2 games in, though. Like, it's quite a long season. Like they should be able to pull something out of the bag.
Yeah, I think it's true. And we said on the last pod as well, if you look at the breakdown of Harry Brook's stats, he is worse against spin, and he is specifically worse against leg spin. Has he been out to leg spin twice in 2 matches now?
Yeah.
I think you can write off today. Like, getting runs on the pitch today.
He's bad against leg spin, and he was playing against a really good leg spinner on a ridiculous pitch.
But this pitch effectively is not a real cricket wicket. If you're scoring runs on that, you're probably not getting runs anywhere else.
Yeah.
Or you're probably
we saw a
not
bit
that
at
good.
the end, didn't we? That Rashid Googly through a Mario Shepherd.
Yeah. So I don't.
He was playing it in a different.
I don't think
state.
it's that big a deal. I do think that he will have to learn, and as I said on the last show, it might take him up the whole of the season. It might not be till next year that he knows what he has to do. Like 14 matches isn't very many. Now it's only 12, probably. Yeah.
It'll be a good experience for him, though.
There is a very fun opportunity now, though, that we get to play. Kind of, will Sunrisers Hyderabad actually win a game this season? And I'm all for it. Every single game. They are 2 from 2. It's very exciting.
I think the evidence of the next game we're about to cover will tell you that they will definitely win a game.
Well, should we
one way or another?
Should we move on to that? It's a huge blowout. Again, props to LSG. They bounced back after getting chip-hawked and kind of did a chip-hawk on somebody else, which is
I suppose.
I do have one question.
All right.
Deepak Hooda. I can't work out if he's good or bad.
No, he's not. But he's probably league average, isn't he? So he's going to have good games. Yeah. He shouldn't be anywhere near the India squad. But he's perfectly acceptable, I think, in the IPL. Is that fair?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Next game then, was the Royal Challengers Bangalore the Kolkata Knight Riders at Eden Gardens, which is one of my favourite grounds in India, I think. Ross, what happened?
Well, we knew there was going to be some absolute slugfests, didn't we? And here we had KKR on the canvas after 5 heavy blows from RCB. And then, like the Undertaker at WrestleMania, the Lord Almighty himself channeled the Holy Spirit over the boundary repeatedly with the help of a smiley assassin in Rinku Singh. And they went from 89 for 5 to 204 from their 20 overs. RCB's death bowling curse struck again. RCB then realised, oh no, we have to bat in this game, but they had Harshal Patel down to bat at 5. I don't know about you guys, but I think sometimes the RCB just lose on purpose. And this was one of the games. What were they doing? KKR, their spinners were all over them. Narayan Chakravarti were really tasty. Suya Sharma, a player with a spotless record, as it doesn't really exist at the top level.
It doesn't exist at all. There isn't one.
Looks at the sky instead of where he's going to bowl, and somehow it comes out all right. Had a night to remember. An 81-run defeat for RCB, and their net run rate. Again, they shoot themselves in the leg deliberately every season. If I'm an RCB fan, I am furious at this game.
They looked pretty good in the first game. Like on the power ranking, they went up from mid-table to, these are definitely playoff challengers, and now they've slid right back down into the sludge of mid-table, haven't they? I think I do wonder whether they actually kind of do lose the game on purpose sometimes. It just seemed like such a baffling decision. So Gurbaz is like for the first 10 overs of the match, Gurbaz is literally the only player to hit a boundary. Nobody else for KKR manages to find the ropes once. It's a one-man show, and it's not even that good a one-man show, to be honest. He gets 57 off 44 balls. It's hardly innings of the century. They get the breakthrough. Him and Rinku had rebuilt the innings after a really poor start. And then, speaking of people who are having a day out, Khan Sharma gets Andre Russell first ball caught in the deep. And you are thinking this is over. Like KKR's game plan, play terribly, hope Andre Russell saves us. Play terribly, tick. Andre Russell saved us. No, that means the game plan has failed. There was a great tweet. I don't know if you saw it. You can kill the man, but you can't kill the idea. And it was like a picture of Andre Russell next to Shardul Thakur. And that's basically what happened, isn't it? Shardul Thakur was like, well, I'm not like. Look, I'm gonna take inspiration from this guy, and he teed off from ball 1. He wasn't gonna play himself in. He was just like, no.
Well, no, ball 1, he nearly fell to the hat-trick ball.
He did actually. Yeah, he was nearly out to that trick ball, and then from there, it was lift-off. What really struck me, I think, was after that over, instead of going for the kill, throwing the ball to I don't know, probably Siraj. I think, as the most dangerous player. Maybe even Harshal Patel in the middle overs. They went to Akash Deep, tried to sneak a cheeky over in, which got pulverised, and that was it, off to the races. KKR were back in the game more or less after that over. And death bowling for
was
RCB.
abject, wasn't it?
It's so bad.
Oh my God.
It's so
Just go
bad.
for the throat. I don't understand these teams.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
You need to worry about the 19th or 20th over. You've got them 5 down and their best players just departed.
Yeah.
Go for the kill and be like, right, we're going to bowl them out
If
by
you-
the 15th over.
Shardul Thakur is realistically the last dangerous man in that lineup. Sunil Narayan
Narayan's
might
got
get
no
a quick
problem,
20
yeah.
if you're lucky. Yeah. But realistically, Shardul Thakur is like, get him out. It's done. 160 is the best you're going to be chasing, and you'll be fine. And they, yeah, it was just so weird. They just didn't do it. Maybe they knew that Siraj and Harsh Patel were going to bowl out absolute drains at the end, because I mean they did, didn't they? They were awful. Ball tosses galore. It's one of those things that you literally you can't explain other than by saying, well, RCB.
It was a total RCB moment. And we were speaking of Markram's bad captaincy today. Faf had a real off day for RCB, and I don't know, poor decision making there. It did look like, to be honest, though. It did. Well, actually, no. 200 was too much, but it did.
But the chase started well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. There's reasons, I think, to be hopeful if you're an RCB fan. The completely deranged game is now out of the way. Topley is out. We said Topley was seen at Lords, and people were like, "No, that's not true." It's like, I know somebody who said hello to him. Like, I've got evidence, and people are like, "No, it's not been reported in the media." We are the media. We are the media. That's what we are. Anyway, like they still, I think, like point being, they've still got like sort of some competency here. They need to stop using Siraj at the death. I think they might need to tweak Harshal Patel's role a little bit, and they do need Hazelwood to come back, I think.
David Willey bowled well.
David Willey's a good player. I like David, but
Yeah.
can we just talk about like their decision making? Like Bracewell in at 3.
That's weird.
I thought they would use someone like Shabazz Ahmed. Shabazz, he's played in that position before for RCB, I believe. Even then, just doing something like that would make it a little bit more, I don't know, tolerable. But Harshal Patel coming in at number 5, that's just there's a bit around extending your batting line. But come on, lads, what are you doing?
Is he particularly good at spin? Is there why?
I don't know.
Can anyone explain?
Maybe Dennis Startic was doing a Ben Stokes and he was on the toilet. Maybe that's what was happening.
He has got a bit of power, but I don't know.
I
agree. I think
it should be coming in at 5.
I guess it was a Hail Mary, wasn't it? Because at this point, the game is basically done. I think we should give a bit of credit to Nitish Rana, new captain. It wasn't the most complicated decision in the world, but we've seen people in cricket not be very good at making the right cricketing decision. And after, 2 or 3 overs, particularly Tim Southey getting absolutely taken to the cleaners, he decided he was going to bring on Narayan and Chakravarti in the power play. And they took 3 identical wickets. It was like Groundhog Day.
He's back, isn't he, Chakravarti? He went away.
Big time.
Now he's come
He
back.
took a wonder catch at the end as well.
Bowling.
He threw everyone out of the way.
Did he? I must be honest. I went to the gym.
Gurbaz was literally like underneath it. Like it went way up in the air, and everyone was like running towards it. Gurbaz was literally there with the gloves, just take it. And Chakravarti was like, "No, it's mine," and dived full length forward and took it 2-handed. It was like, okay, nice. It's your day.
Good for him.
The man who literally cannot field.
Yeah, that is nice. Well, look, KKR, they're how to be a bad franchise. Now, SRH, they are the poster boys for how to not do things well. Like, even when you do things well, you end up playing awfully and stinking the place out. KKR, I can sit here with you now, and I would say that they've probably got less chance of making the playoffs than SRH. But they're they're like really good fun. Like they are really good fun. They don't die wondering, do they? This team, they're
a complete lottery. They are a complete. You genuinely have no idea if their players are going to turn up and just be like, "I can't do it today," because genuinely they've got loads of old people in there who are made out of glass, and then other people are just like, "Oh, if they turn up at the right bit and they've like sat in the ice bath for long enough, they pull unbelievable deliveries out." Like it's insane some of the stuff that Narayan and Chakravarti were doing, and I thought Shreyas on his debut, he played. He was such a weird person to bowl. It was like watching Ravi Bishnoi, but almost like a superhero of Ravi Bishnoi. It was weird.
It's like the first game of proper cricket he's ever played for anyone.
I still can't believe Shardul Thakur.
He has his ESPN Cricket Info
So I don't
record
get.
is T20, one match, one innings, 24 balls, 30 runs, 3 wickets. That's it. That's all it says.
Well, look, don't ask me. Shardul Thakur got 68 off 29 balls in this match.
It was the day, wasn't it? It was one of those days.
That's incredible. That will be performance of the season, I think. One off game. Apparently he was in for 45 minutes, just completely
Crushing it.
Completely.
Absolutely
He
crushed it.
probably took the team from a 20% chance of winning to like 80. Basically by himself. He just picked them all up. Dre Russ, he's massive. Sonal Narayan, he weighs a few pounds, put them on his back, carried them miles, then put them down and let Varun Chakravarti take a wonder catch, apparently. I'm well impressed with Shardul
So I
Thakur.
think but that's what this IPL is all about, isn't it? Like we said, because it's depleted, because it's been extended to 10 teams. Generally, it's such an open competition, and what we saw here was RCB absolutely pissed their own pants, and KKR just sit there laughing at them.
Right, shall we take a little break and then we'll come back and it's question time?
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Cool. Right. See you in 2 seconds.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast. Or welcome back to the Cricket Podcast for part 2 on Fridays. So just to talk people through how our week goes. We do 3 games on Wednesday, and then we do a bit of analysis. On Friday, we do only 2 games, and then we're going to answer some questions. And then on Sunday, so these are when the shows happen, it's all cricket all the time. But it's question time
4
now.
games, and that's a lot of games.
It is a lot of games. It's question time now.
But before question time,
Yes?
we have another. Have another sponsor announcement.
Oh,
don't we?
yes.
Don't we? Because not only are we sponsored by Serious Cricket, as Ross so delightfully explained at the start of the show, we also are involved with our good friends at manscaped.com, who have all the tools for your family jewels, which we ascertained last week was the wording probably used by Americans, because in this country we say crown jewels, and that they are. So you can go to manscaped.com and use the code CricketPod for 20% off. Get on the performance package, get your lawnmower 4.0 for some. I mowed the lawn today, literally though, not it's not a euphemism, because it's spring and it's sunny and it's a bank holiday. But that's by the by. The lawnmower 4.0 is a wonderful piece of kit, reducing the chances of nicks and scrapes, etc. And in the performance package, many other goodies: deodorant, boxers, anything you can think of that might trim hair. Oh, yeah, the one for your face holes as well. So manscaped.com, CricketPod, 20% off and free shipping.
Nice work, Max. We're going to start with questions from our Patreons. You can sign up to Patreon, patreon.com/thecricketpod. We had another sign up today. Harshdeep Singh. Now, you've got to be careful with how you say that, because we've got southern English accents, and quite often we would drop the H. So it isn't, for absolute clarity, it isn't Arshdeep Singh. It's Harshdeep with an H. Thanks for signing up.
I wonder. Welcome.
We're one step closer.
Yeah. BVS Laxman replied to one of my tweets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nicely?
So,
Or did he say he was soft?
no, he was just talking about Ashwin. Like, it was irrelevant that I tweeted it. It was,
Okay.
this is what I think about Ashwin. On a video I tweeted.
Still.
Yeah, no, it was good.
I mean, we went up to Rob Key the other day, so...
That's true. We're friends in high places. Rickon says, which brain fart was worst, Ashwin opening or Harshal at 5?
I'm taking that one.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's Ashwin opening. I was gutted that I couldn't make the podcast on Wednesday, because I was sitting there going, what are my pink boys doing? Devdutt Padikkal literally is an opening batsman. Why did you decide we need him at 4? Like, he's got a half decent record.
Well, no, he was
Half
bang
decent.
at 5 because Ashwin opened.
Yeah. And I was just extremely frustrated. At that.
Also, that bit probably cost them the game, whereas they'd already lost by the time Harshal was coming in at 5, let's be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swami has a couple of questions for us. The first one is, what is the way back for Rabada into the Punjab Kings 11 with Nathan Ellis performing so well? And that is quite a tricky one, because Nathan Ellis has been performing so well. Max, what do you reckon? How do you get him in? Or don't you?
Well, I think Nathan Ellis deserves to stay in the side. for the for the foreseeable future, because he's been. I mean, his performance the other day was amazing. And are you going to drop Sam Curran with the flexibility he allows? So it is a tricky one, I suppose. Maybe it'll be a case of you might drop Rajapaksa, have another sort of local batter, given how well Prabhsimran Singh's doing. But it's not. It's or maybe Sikandar Raza. You could drop Raza as well.
Yeah, I think
he's not really done very much, is he? So bring in maybe Rishi Dhawan or sort of another all-rounder, and you can squeeze him in that way. And he's fairly useful with the bat as well. Number sort of 8 or 9 Rabada. So that's probably the route, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Raza out. Tidy is that? I think it's Tidy, isn't it? The other batter. You can probably bring him in as a local batter. I think because of the impact sub rule, you can afford to have like a slightly weaker on paper 11, but you still bat all the way down. And it isn't like, let's be honest, Rabada's completely useless with the willow. Like he can swing it around a bit. So I'd probably do that.
And then I mean that's a tasty lineup, isn't it? With the ball. Nathan Ellis, Rabada, Arshdeep, Sam Curran, Royall Chahar. Yeah, I'll take that.
It is nice. Yeah. So that's probably what I would do. Second question from Swami is, with the whole host of unexpected performances in the first 10 games, which have caught your eye and why? Well, let's do one each. I think I have to hold my hands up on this one and say Kyle Mayers. Like I had no idea that he was. I thought he would be probably the worst overseas player in the league. And
there is no evidence. Excellent. There is no statistical evidence to suggest that this should be happening. Like it's not within the bell curve. It's not within the normal distribution of Kyle Mayers. It shouldn't be happening. Like this is a guy who's been playing T20s for the West Indies and turning out scores of like 25 or 40 balls. Like it's not. Yeah. Don't get it. But like fair play to him. He's been quality.
Your choice.
I have to. Well, I'd agree with you, but I mean, I suppose I could do it on the flip side. Okay. And I'm sort of surprised at how out of his depth so far Harry Brooks looked. He looks a bit confused. I mean, like we were talking about the leg spinners, but the shots that he played today was very questionable. After like 3 balls in the pitch ball, so mate, I thought he might do better early on, just given how good he's been over the last few months.
Ross?
Well, it's got to be Prabhsimran Singh, hasn't it? Dan's fever snake dream is ultimately coming off, and he's looked comfortable at this level. He's looked good for Punjab Kings, and he's done exactly what they needed to do as they're without Johnny Bairstow. And it's even inspired Shikhar Dhawan to score at a slightly higher rate than usual, which is nice.
Yeah, Rick, and final question from our Patreons. A reminder, patreon.com/thecricketpod. It's the best way to support the show, let's be honest. And it's also from Rickon. Can RCB ever solve their same old middle order problems? With Hasaranga coming in and Bracewell going out, they'll be even more exposed. And I think this is quite hard. With Patidar out as well, it sort of does destabilise things a little bit. I don't think it's as bad as they make it seem it is with some of their decision making. I think that Glenn Maxwell, Dinesh Karthik, and like some other guys, Lombraw, even Harshal slogging it, and even Hasaranga slogging it. I don't think it's that. It's like, I don't think it's as difficult a situation.
And if it's going to be David Willey for Reece Topley, he opens the batting in England. Yeah,
I don't think it's as bad as they make it seem, but they do make it seem horrific. Ross?
Yeah, I just my view on that is it's not like Patidar has been crushing IPL after IPL with 550 runs every season, is it? You've got this random like number 3 or number 4 who has one game a season where you're just like, oh, he's really contributed really well here. Maybe 2 games. It's just it's not a massive loss. Play Lomroy in that middle order, and just get on with your life and start playing good cricket.
That's what I think. That's a good way of putting things. We should also say, and let's go over. We'll do some questions from YouTube. Before we do, we've got a decent number of people watching. Bearing in mind, like the games, let's be honest, weren't
done.
Thanks very much.
They
everyone.
Had fun though, didn't they?
Thanks very much for everyone for coming along. If you're one of the people watching and you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. We're quite close to 13,000 subscribers now. So back the ball.
Like 13,000.
I saw someone, SK Raju, did click it, and then the Dhoni meme came up, or it's not a meme, is it? The Dhoni GIF came up.
GIF.
So GIF, whatever.
GIF.
Smash that. Also hit like. That has a big knock-on effect in terms of getting other people to notice the show and come along and get your questions in. Is one of you looking at the questions?
Yeah, I've got first one from Parav Sangha. Update on Liam Livingston. He was bowling at Old Trafford at
He
lunchtime
was.
today.
Yes.
So looks like he's going to be recovering from his injury. It looks apparently that ECB are going to say, yep, go and play in the IPL. Whether that's tomorrow, whether it's the next day, don't know. But it looks like he will be coming to play in the IPL for Punjab, which is it's a nice addition to a Punjab Kings who have started the IPL nicely.
I think that's obviously the sensible decision, isn't it? I mean, he's going to get so much more out of playing in the IPL than he is County Championship.
So how does he get back in the team? For Rajapaksa, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably.
And then you can drop Raza because you've got the bowling.
Yeah, I think you can do that anyway. But yeah, it definitely it gives you even more flexibility.
Even easier to drop him.
I had something to say, but I can't remember what it was. PPKS, they actually look all right though. Like,
yeah.
In the injury Premier League, like their injuries actually. I mean, we did wonder this, didn't we? Whether Bairstow being injured and Ellis sort of playing
might help them,
and we'll see how things play out. But it doesn't look
looking good so far.
Disastrous. Max, the Sunrisers. This is from Killmonger. That's a hell of a name, isn't it? Do Sunrisers rely too much on their overseas talent?
Well, they only
played three.
Played three of them today. Yeah. So the thing is, I mean, it's hard to come to that conclusion because it's basically a brand new side, isn't it? So I think I think they've got quite good local talent. It's just young and not that well heard of. You know, I mean, Mayank Agarwal, everyone knows what he's like, and Bhuvi Kumar's an elder statesman of the India side. So I mean, there's plenty of quality there. And then you look at Umran Malik, young up and coming, exciting player.
So no, is your answer?
Good bowler. No, I don't think so. I think they've got a really good local core. It's just some of it might not be as glamorous.
Well, let's do the other side of this, and I think this will be the last SRH question for the show from Casual Spontaneity, and then we'll go back to the YouTube. Why are people like Brian Lara with no T20 credentials made head coaches of IPL teams? Ross.
Banter, I think, is the term.
Well, I mean, it's the same reason Frank Lampard was Chelsea manager.
Yeah.
And it was twice.
Just
because Brian Lara is Brian Lara.
Just really dumb, isn't it? I think we can all acknowledge that. I think most of our audience can acknowledge that as well. But
it happens in all sports, doesn't it? It's obviously people equate being really good at the sport when you play it to being able to coach a side, and it's completely different.
Yeah. Anything else from? Oh, let's have another one from YouTube, Ross.
Like you said, so this is from Shubman Bagri. Like you said, Huda shouldn't be anywhere near the India squad. And then I think they are, I don't know, slightly going to. What about Rinku Singh? Is he good enough? I don't think there's a choice between. If you're an India selector, you're going, is it Deepak Huda or Rinku Singh at the moment? I think there's far better options available.
I'd have him along as a sub fielder every time. He's a winner.
He is good value.
Yeah, like look, I think he's a fair way off. I'd say he's a little bit below Huda, but I think India have got some better talent, I think, than both of them. That's what I would go if I were India. Let's have some more Sanju Samson.
More Sanjus.
Yeah, let's actually give Sanju Samson a run in the team before we start thinking about Rinku Singh.
I don't think you can give the captain of the second best franchise from last season any real opportunity to establish his position. And he's he probably is the most selfless players in the IPL.
Yeah, there also isn't a wicket keeping spot open for the India side at the moment, with their main wicket keeper being injured.
Yeah, and he was inherently selfish player, wasn't he? Rishabh Pant really valued his wickets so much.
Let's
Manish Singh's got a question. Will Unadkat continue to torture us for the rest of the season?
I feel sorry for Unadkat. Like he probably shouldn't be bowling in the
like a dog with three legs kind of thing. You just like that looks a bit.
Yeah, I think it's clearly an immensely skillful red ball bowler, but it's just never found a role in the IPL. Did he have one good season or something like that? It's just not happening, is it? He probably shouldn't be bowling. That's what I would say there. Go over to Twitter. Let's go back over to Twitter. Navni, we're going to have one more about SRH. There's no point in having having a Ferrari, is there, if you don't know how to drive it?
Yeah, very fair.
And for you, Max, which of the big signings, Brook, Cam Green, Stokes, Curran, has been the biggest bust? And I'm paraphrasing this question a little bit. Should we give Nick Pooran a little bit more props as another big name player who's actually doing okay?
I'm going to go Stokes because he's not even doing well. He did bowl the other day, but he started off not bowling and he's been pretty hopeless. But it's a close run thing between him and Cam Green and Harry Brook. There's plenty of time for it all to change, but all three are leading the race for flop of the year. Sam Curran did at least hit some useful runs the other day and bowled a good
he got
final
Dre
over.
Out, didn't he?
And he bowled a good final over the other day when they were defending 16 on a road.
I don't think Curran's doing that badly. I think his bowling, he'd like to be less expensive than he has, but he's taken some quite important wickets. He's defended a last over and hit a few sixes as well. So I think
bowls in the most difficult overs as well, doesn't he? Right?
Yeah.
There is a little bit on here where it's 2 games in to the season. The standard that people hold some of these players to, I'm all here for it, because all I can imagine that in their life they are unbelievable. Some of these people, like if they hold themselves to the same standard they're holding some T20 players to.
In fairness, these are 3 of the most talented cricketers potentially of the generation.
I'm not disagreeing with that, Max, but I love the fact that it's literally just like you get one chance, and if you don't do that, then you are shit for the rest of the day. And then if the second game happens and you're shit, that's all the evidence that person's ever going to need ever again in their life. And Harry Brook is a write-off, Cam Green is a write-off, Stokes is a write-off. I love the brutality of it, and I would love to know what happens in their home life, because they must be like the Elon Musk levels rich.
Well, they might be. It's a possibility. Ross,
if they are, patreon.com/.
Nicely done.
Ross, we have one more. We have time for one more question. Let's take it from YouTube. Thanks everyone on Twitter. I'll just read out some names. We had LSG, Sports Guy, Harrison, Naveen, Mangal, KG, all asking questions largely around like SRH and stuff. But I think we went deep on SRH today.
It's the topic, isn't it?
Yeah. Last one from the YouTube.
Okay, so we've got there's one from Nachiket saying, do you know that Piyush Chawla is legally younger than Virat Kohli? I mean, if you believe that birth certificate, then you're smoking crack. Have you looked at them next to each other? Aditya asks, is Jofra Archer injured? Don't think so.
No, but he's rehabbing from a bad injury, isn't he? So, I don't think it's reasonable to assume he'll play every game. I think if there's any pain whatsoever, he won't play.
Yeah, he'll probably he'll be under very strict instructions as well from the ECB that if he feels anything, he takes a rest.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then
fortunately for him, Joe Root doesn't play for Mumbai Indians as well.
Final question from S says, does Umran Malik stand a chance in the World Cup squad for India? 100%. Like, there's not even a shadow of a doubt. Like, he'll be in that squad.
Yeah, I think.
Bowls rockets.
I think
use him right.
Who's the name? I've had it drawn a temporary blank. Ross, you'll know the guy who bowls quite quick for Rajasthan Royals. Prasidh Krishna.
Prasidh Krishna.
Yeah, he was injured. Yeah, if he's been getting he got a little run of games, didn't he? Going back a year or so now, but he got a little run of games. Far less talented than Umran Malik. Far less good at the role that they're trying to fill by thinking of Prasidh Krishna. So we know
far less consistent.
Yeah, we know that India are thinking we want someone quite quick, probably for the middle overs here. Who is a better option? We also know that Bhuvi's made of glass. Bumrah is an injury question. Mohammad Shami isn't that bowler. He'll be in the ODI team, but he'll be bowling up top. So there's quite a few seaming positions, I think, open in this India team.
Yeah, well, we know one person who's going to be in that squad, and that is going to be Lord Shardul Thakur, isn't it? So
maybe right. We're going to wrap up now. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back on Sunday with the wrap of all of the weekend's best action. So join us then. It'll be about 7 o'clock UK time, or maybe earlier. Maybe have another early start. Happy Easter.
Bye.